Hey everybody, I just want to do a quick video. Outside today it's kind of hot and my neighbors are having a barbecue, so I want to keep it fast. But I wanted to do a video on, I had some recent insights with regards to Enneagram 3s, and I just wanted to share some of my thoughts. So I'm going to drink some tea and get on with that. I don't want anyone who's a 3, if you're watching this and you're going to get upset, please don't get upset. I'm just telling you my opinion as from the perspective I am a type 4. But before I begin this, I had this insight where I thought that I thought to myself, as a 4, I find happiness in someone sharing sorrow with me. And what I enjoy is not that they've experienced sorrow, but that hearing what they've learned from it. And I feel like when someone shares their sad stories, that I bond with them. I feel a closeness with them. And 3s, though, I will say, and again, I'm just giving you my perspective, so don't personalize this. And 3s tend to annoy me a little bit because of their sort of ostentatious bragging. One of the things I've noticed about 3s is they absolutely abhor being overshadowed. If they feel overshadowed, they will just withdraw, and it's like they hate you. They can't take it. They just literally can't take it. I have known now a number of 3s who, when you encounter them, they will be encouraging towards you, and they will be like, they'll flatter you and compliment you, but it's almost like a mentoring thing, or it is actually a mentoring thing. Like they'll compliment you because they know you're no threat to them. But the minute that you are a threat to them, or that you equal them or excel over them in some way, they can't stand you. And I've had this happen a number of times. So like, I'm gonna give some examples. So like, I know somebody who from my past was someone I worked with, and this person was very he loved to talk, and he loved the center of attention. And this is before I knew the Enneagram. And when I was in a position of him training me for jobs, and he was sort of my quote-unquote mentor, we got along fine. But then over time, obviously, I don't need him anymore. I don't need his advice anymore. I'm my own employee, and so sometimes I found that, like, then when I would talk to him and we'd talk about books or something, he would get very like defensive if I knew more than he did, and it was very strange. And I was like, why is he so butthurt about this? And I just really didn't understand. And then I came to learn that it was sort of like, he felt that I was overshadowing him. And I think that is the only area where I have felt I've ever overshadowed 3s, was with my writing talent and my knowledge with regards to literature and art and things like that. Because 3s are very good at marketing themselves and making themselves excel in their current climate. So they know what's required of them, and they know what to do to achieve that. 4s will the 4s kind of rebel against that. They're like, well, I don't want to be, I'm going to give you a good example, a good analogy between a 3 and a 4. A 3 will see someone do something, and they'll say, oh my God, they did that? I could do that better. I'm going to do that better. And a 4 is going to say, well, why do I want to do that? I'll do something different. And that's sort of how I felt. So 3s really hate to be overshadowed, and I have noticed over time when I have when I feel comfortable with someone, so I'm a 4-wing 5, and when I feel comfortable with someone, I very much suffer from that 5, avarice? Is it they're sort of like stingy with their knowledge, and I'm like, I'm not gonna share shit with you. I don't like you, whatever. But when I feel that I'm comfortable with you, I feel open enough to share what I know. Like, I feel I'm giving something to you. And I had this kind of exchange with a 3. He was a 3-wing 2. And I noticed that he just got really defensive. And I'm like, this is before I knew the Enneagram. I'm like, I'm trying to share with you what I know, and you're getting butthurt because he feels overshadowed. And that's not my intention. I'm not trying to be a dick waver here. Like, there's so much in this world I have no idea about and I don't know. But the few things I do know, I know very, very well. And then I'll share that with you if I feel comfortable and I like you. So my sharing these with him was my way, because I liked him and I was being open. He took that, though, as a slight. And so after that, I was like, well, fuck you. I'm not going to share shit with you. I don't give a shit. You know, like, be like that. So 3s hate to be overshadowed. And I find that they will help you and they will push you forward as long as you don't exceed them or outshine them. So there's someone else, another 3 I know. He was very complimentary. He's this writer I knew from my past, and he had sent me something, and I said, oh, it was very good, it was excellent. It was a great piece of writing, and I said one phrase, I said, this phrase could use a little rework. Yeah, that's all, but it's good. I think he was so not used to getting any kind of criticism, he kept messaging me and being like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? And he wasn't being belligerent, and he wasn't being aggressive or anything like that, but it's like, literally, you could tell the dude has only had his ass kissed. I'm like, I said, you don't have to defend your art to me. You're the one who's making the final call. I'm telling you my opinion. I said it was excellent. I gave all this praise, and the one little line that I said needed work, he couldn't let go. Likewise, he read my one of my novels. He read His Imperial Skill. I have not released that on Amazon. That's one of my Japanese novels. It's very oh, very good, excellent, blah, 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 filled with compliments. And then he ends his email with, well, I don't know if I could call it great. And it was just funny. Like, I don't care. I'm like, that's kind of funny. But it was, you could see, like, kind of the competition. But then he'll have no problem putting, saying other people, oh, this person's brilliant or that person's brilliant, because they're no threat to him, because he's in the mentoring position. And I've seen this multiple times, like multiple 3s have done this. They'll encourage you, but that's because you're beneath them. You're not excelling them. The minute you overshadow them in that area or any other area, I can tell you they do not react well. I had another 3. I remember years ago I was working with this type 3, and she just kept bragging to me about things, and she had to mention to me that she got straight A's in school and this and that, and I'm thinking to myself, does she really think I give a shit? Like, I wrote my first great novel at age 27. I kind of don't give a shit about what you got in, algebra. Okay? I don't care. But she just had to compete. And that's why I think 4s naturally always feel overshadowed. In life, they feel misunderstood and overshadowed. I say this as one myself, I'm a 4. But I think 3s really react badly when they get that moment of feeling overshadowed. When you know more than they do. It's like, ha, how do you like how it feels, motherfucker? So, their encouragement, very often I find patronizing. They're patronizing. They're like, good job. But they know you're never going to exceed them. But the minute you have something over them, they withdraw and they will suddenly go cold towards you, and then they'll say, you know, that I don't understand why you know, it's like they want this cultivation of people, these followers. They want twos who are self-effacing, who are letting others be in the spotlight. Nines also will do this, and some phobic sixes will do it. But a four isn't gonna kiss your ass if you're a 3. 4 is gonna be like, okay, whatever, I got my own shit to do. It's funny. So I'm linking to that blog that I just mentioned, where I just found these added descriptions of each type, and I'm reading. Again, I'm gonna say this as everything I've said. I have the 3 wing as well. I identify primarily as a 4-wing 5, but I got a very strong 3-wing. I mean, I gotta write all these books, and have I done enough, and I need to be blah, 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 blah. I have all that stuff. I feel that on the inside. I don't propel it outwardly. I feel it though inside. And I was reading the description that this person wrote of the 4-wing 3. And it's all like, all this shit. They're like, they're elitist, and they're this, and they're that, and there's the blah, 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 blah. I mean, you can see, I'm going to have a link. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. Yep. Absolutely. I'm a 4-wing 3, you know? Then I read the first line of the 4-wing 5. And the first line the person writes is, 4-wing 5s are truly the outsiders of the Enneagram. And I said, that's it. You know, like everything you just said, this is more. This is truly how I feel. So 3s manage to adapt to their culture. They find what it is, what's deemed successful, and they learn to excel at it. 4s are more likely to be the visionaries. A good example of a 3, also I want to say, is Truman Capote as a writer. If you've ever read Truman Capote, I'm just going to finish this video and talk about Truman Capote for a minute. So Truman Capote is known, his book In Cold Blood, regarded as the greatest crime novel ever written. Okay, you can tell when, like, I have read Truman Capote, and I can tell this is someone who writing for him did not come difficultly. Like he didn't have to struggle at it. It's something that he just has. He's very, very skilled as a writer. But ultimately, and then you know, In Cold Blood is regarded, like I said, the greatest crime novel ever written. But ultimately, in his death, and you know, because now he's dead. Oh, my phone slipped. Sorry. Ultimately, I would regard him as a second-tier writer, not a top-tier. Even though he could have easily been a top-tier writer, he certainly had the talent. He didn't really even had to work that hard. He just came to him. But Truman Capote, I would say, still, he's a second-tier writer. You know why? Because he was a 3, but he is a 3, and he was more concerned about partying, his image, and how he appeared among his peers. So he was okay with just being, you know, I wrote the greatest crime novel ever written, and he achieved his fame, and he was very popular, and he partied. That's what was important to him. I don't think had he been a 4, you know, he might not have excelled as much in his lifetime, but I think in his death he wouldn't have been as satisfied with what he had. So my point is that I'm not saying, you know, all types are capable of being artists and great artists, but in his case, being a 3, he really could have been, you know, one of the greatest writers ever. And, you know, but because of his desire for image and partying, and he didn't devote enough time to it, he didn't write enough, I wouldn't put him at a level of a Steinbeck. Not that he didn't have the talent. He certainly had the talent, but I'm just using that as an example. So again, those are some thoughts I had. If you're a type 3 and you hear this, you know, my intention is not to piss you off. I actually, you know, very much I enjoy sexual threes. They tend to be a little other focused and not so much on themselves. But even when I have encountered sexual threes, they still tend to be in the mentor role. And there's a channel I follow on YouTube who's this woman is so much a three-wing too. She's a chemical engineer, she's a food scientist, she has entered bikini contests. I mean, she is like overachiever. You know, she always talks about, I'm an overachiever, blah, blah, blah. So obviously a three. But a three, if ever you want your goals achieved, a three is gonna know how to help you. So like she gives online advice and she runs her own company, giving advice for women on how to achieve their fitness goals and things like that. So it's like she strikes me as a sexual three-wing too. Very much about helping others, but she's needs to feel that achievement in order to feel worthy. So, I mean, if you ever want your goals achieved, you want advice, career advice, or anything like that, 3 is the one to go to. But as I said, as a 4, sometimes they can irritate me, because they come off as fake. And the 4-wing 3 is always in that debate. Authentic, fake, confident, not confident, extroverted, introverted. You know, it's just a clash. And but I still say ultimately I'm a 4-wing 5. If I was a 4-wing 3, I'd probably be better at marketing myself, but I feel a 3 inside. So I do identify with a lot of those feelings. I think they manifest through my work, my accomplishment, and I do have a sense of image. I mean, I'm always like, how do I appear to others? It's kind of, you know, but I just had those things to say. That's it. Hope you all have a pleasant rest of your afternoon. Thank you for listening. I'm going to have more Enneagram stuff. I got a lot more stuff to say. I enjoy doing this, and I hope you find these videos helpful. And if, you know, feel free to message me, and we'll chat. All right? Take care, and I'll be in touch very soon. Thanks for listening.